Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman. Now today I don't know what to say about this gin today because it's been recommended by a few subscribers, so I thought I'd give it a go. But I know literally nothing about this gin. Its name is, have a look at it here, Boodles Gin. For some reason I always pronounce it Boodles Gin. I don't know why, it just seems rather pleasing to me. So as I say, I don't really know much about it, so let's crack on and see what they say about it on the website. But before we do, I must just say a huge thank you to Mr. Philip Corrill, who has become my 4th ever Patreon supporter. So thank you very much, Philip. I am extremely grateful. You are a gentleman and I salute you. So here we go. Every batch of Boodles Gin is made with labour and patience. Well, that's good to know. Interestingly, Boodles Gin contains no citrus. Now this is interesting. A practical decision made by original distillers who expected a brilliant drink to include a slice of lemon or lime. Now this, I'm not sure how I feel about this because I like citrusy gin, and to be honest, I think if you're going to make a gin, you should be putting it in. You shouldn't be leaving it up to me. I'm buying the gin, I'm paying you the money, you bloody well do it for me. But anyway, I shall give it the benefit of the doubt. The Boodles recipe also contains a number of traditional herbs and spices, including nutmeg, sage, and rosemary. The ingredients add a mellow but herby quality to Boodles, which balances out the essential piney notes from the juniper. Suitable for any brilliant drinks, martinis, Boodles and tonics, bucks, or further mixology for those so inclined. So then, my friends, no more fanning around. I say we get the top off and get the fellow in the glass, shall we? So then, in you get, old son. Oops! Oh dear, it's a dirty pour. I'm usually very good with these little bottles. It allows me to sort of do a higher pour like this, like I'm a sort of a fancy cocktail waiter. However, I don't know if you can see that. I've got one spot there, but that's very displeasing. I've talked about it rather more than I probably should do, so let's move on. So, have a bit of a sniff of the fella. Okay, I'm aware they are just grunts, and you probably don't know what they mean, but it's interesting because there's definitely it feels like there's something missing to me. It feels like there's a little pizzazz missing there. You're getting heavy juniper, which of course is good because if it ain't gin, if it ain't juniper, it ain't gin, but I don't know. Feels a little bit flat to me. It is, like I say, it's revealing that juniper hugely, but I do like a bit of citrus in the gin. So anyway, never mind, as I say, I shall give it the fairest of chances. So a tiny bit of tonic in there like that, just to release those flavours. Here we go, my friends. So, Boodles Gin, cheers. What do I think of that? What do I think of that? This is a rather muted response, isn't it, compared to what I usually do, but this is really weird. This is really weird. It's it is gin. It's definitely gin, I can tell you that much, but it's very, very different. This is very different to anything I've ever tried. I cannot decide if I like it or not. Do you know what? I think I do. I think I do like it, but it's just taken me a bit by surprise. It's palpable, that lack of citrus in there. There's nothing at all, but which is kind of a shock to the system because we all love a citrusy gin, and I certainly do anyway. I like the way you get a chance to balance those flavours together with the woodiness and all that and the sort of the groundedness. But after the initial shock, it's like something's, I bet, you know, I like a lot of salt on my food. Get ready for another strange analogy here. I like a lot of salt in my food, right? Now, if someone gave me a nice bit of roast chicken and I had it without the salt, I'd be like, oh, hang on a minute. Or a steak, for example, a lovely, really top quality steak. I'd be a bit like, oh, hang on a minute, something's not quite right. But I suppose you then appreciate the steakiness of that steak without whacking that great big enhancing salt flavour on there. That's going to sound the weirdest analogy ever out of all my weird analogies, but I think that makes sense. For a second, my brain is firing like a smoker, I suppose, who sort of once craves that nicotine. I crave that citrusy sort of flavour. But after a few goes, do you know what? It's kind of stripped away all those sort of fancy, sort of zesty flavours, and you're left with something quite pure, and you've basically sort of revealed just the bare bones of the ginness, which, you know what, is not a bad thing. I was unsure to start with. I thought this was going to go to a bad review, but actually, it's very, very nice. I think perhaps if you're trying gin for the first time, maybe this might be a bit too much for you. That's gonna be too heavy on the juniper, because you do get bags and bags. It is literally like the core. That juniper is there, and that is what it's all about. Which, like I say, for a gin, that's what it should be. It started off with juniper. Juniper it should be at the core of every single gin. I think if you're a real gin lover, this is going to be one definitely to try. So thank you for all those who recommended this, because that is a very, very important milestone in the gin journey, I would say, and very, very bold and interesting choices from those distillers. So people at Boodles, I wasn't sure if I was going to give you a good review to start with, but you know what? Keep up the good work, because you are doing something very important there, because we need to be reminded sometimes with all these weird and wonderful gins that are out there, that every now and then gin is juniper, and that, my friends, is a pure juniper gin, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. Now, one more good thing about it is not going to break the bank, my friends. This little fella is a very healthy and respectable £20, which is of course $24 and about €24. So if ever there was a chance to try something a little bit different from the crowd, and to sort of go back to the roots of what gin should be, Old Boodles, my friends, is the one to try. So guys, thank you very much for watching. What a meandering and strange video this was today, but quite an important one, I think, in the gin journey. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed making it. If you have enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, press the little like button, and of course the bell icon so you get notified when all my new videos come out. And of course, head over to my Patreon page, just as Philip did, and you too could be getting a shout out on the channel. So guys, until next time, I will see you anon. Thank you very much, and stay safe. Bye-bye.